Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Habs Tonight. It's Weisy Wednesday. It's finally here. I'm joined here with my other co-host Dale Weise. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going great, buddy. I'm fired up for this guest. How you doing?
Good, man. I know we've been talking about it all day. We are pumped to be talking about this guest coming up. I think the fans are going to enjoy it. I know there's some war stories between you two, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is one of my best friend, one of my groomsmen in my wedding. We spent 3 years together in Hartford in the American Hockey League. A lot of ups and a lot of downs together. Without this guy, I probably wouldn't have made it through the first couple of years. And, we got a ton of great stories and just a hilarious guy. And like I said, one of my best friends. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, and judging by some of the stories I've already kind of somewhat heard, I think the fans are absolutely going to love this guy. I think this show is going to be hilarious, so I can't wait to jump right into it.
Yeah, he's an old school guy. Just kind of the dying breed of hockey player that's left. Me and him talk about it all the time. Not so much the on ice stuff, some of the off ice stuff that we would have done together. Was just so different from the kids nowadays. So, without further ado, let's get him on and let's get it started here.
All right, everybody, we'd like to welcome to the Habs Tonight community, Devin DiDiomete.
What's up, fellas?
Yeah. I was thinking today, this isn't the first time we've done a show together, hey?
No, it's not. You remember that back in the we had that little camcorder, what was it called? Road to the Show.
Road to the Show.
Just making an absolute mockery of the American Hockey League with a little handheld camera. It was incredible.
Yeah, if people haven't went and checked it out, you probably haven't heard of it. It doesn't have a lot of views. You got to go check it out on YouTube. Road to the Show with the Hartford Wolf Pack. You'll see me and Devin, and mostly Justin Soriel was my roommate. We were kind of the three musketeers. So you'll see the three of us on there, and it's hilarious. When I go watch it now, it's so ridiculous. But I'm just thinking, could you imagine if we would have kept that going and there was social media back then the way it is now? Like we would that show would have been huge.
It would have been absolutely massive. Sometimes when I got too much time, especially right now with all this COVID stuff going on, I get thinking, and I often wonder, what would it have been like with social media now when we were young, when we were 19, 20, 21, 22. Like, I think both our contracts probably would have been terminated.
I'm thinking if they heard some of the things we were saying, at one point, it's funny, we can laugh about it now, but, we were pretty much, making fun of the coach in the back of the bus. I think that was our second year too, right? That we did?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it must have been our second year. But yeah, we were, basically making fun of our coach without him knowing and having our media guy publish it. Like, yeah. It was absolutely insane.
So what were you guys doing? Like, just like in the back of the bus, hotel rooms at the rink, or?
We were doing it 5 minutes before the game, in between periods. It didn't matter. I mean, I had to play 2 shifts a game, so it didn't matter. I just camcorder all the time. It was good stuff.
It was being promoted by our radio and our media guys. So it was like, you got to think this was before Twitter, before anything. So I don't even know where they were showing it originally. Like, was it on YouTube at first?
I don't know, because I know I know for sure my first year pro, we didn't have YouTube because you couldn't watch guys fight. And before you knew it, you're getting hit with the left hand when you thought they were righty, and you're like, oh, shit. But so it must have been like our second or third year, and YouTube must have just came out and they were trying to get some views or something like that, I guess.
Amazing, man. I just laugh when I see the one when I had the black eye and we were riding on the bus, and it was after the Norfolk trip. How long was that one? Do you remember?
I have it was so long. I remember being on that bus forever, and we're interviewing you as you're walking off the bus. You got 2 huge shiners. I don't even think you fought anyone.
No, that was when I get hit from behind into the boards. It wasn't even a fight.
No penalty or anything, because it was the American League, the hardest league to get suspended in the whole entire world. I mean, I bet you I had 1,000 penalty minutes in 200-300 games, and I don't think I ever got suspended once. Baseball, swinging people in warm-ups, like absolutely no holds barred 10 years ago.
Oh, incredible. Let's rewind for a second and just go back. people will look at some of the stories and some of our American League stats and stuff like that. I want people to see, and I've said it a ton. We had Carcillo on, and before guys get to where they are in pro, the guys were elite players. I mean, you can talk about it a little more. You played with Stamkos for how long, and just give us a rundown of people that don't understand what kind of player you were in junior.
Yeah, so I was drafted in the Ontario Hockey League. I was a pretty high pick going into the league, a highly touted prospect, I guess, for my draft year. Was lucky enough to play on 3 good teams in Sudbury. We made it to the conference finals my third year. After that year, I was traded to Sarnia. Got a chance to ride shotgun with Steven Stamkos, which was awesome. And like you said, in pro, it's a little bit different. You got guys that were scoring 20, 30 goals that are now fighting and basically doing whatever they have to do to try to make it to the next level. I was a point-a-game player in junior, scored 20 plus goals for 2-3 years in a row. So when I got to my first training camp, I realized how good the players were, especially the top-end talent, and said, you know what, I know my skill set. I'm never going to be that good, and thought, hey, if I'm going to make the NHL, it's going to be a 3rd, 4th line guy. And easiest way to do that or easiest way to get attention, I think, was to fight. And I did that. And after you do that for a while, it's tough to get out of the role, as I'm sure you know, Weiser.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got to ask about just moving just a little bit forward to the AHL career. There's one stat I found which is absolutely nuts if you think about it. Your 2010-2011 season, with, I think you were in Hartford, 31 fights in 63 games.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. I think that was probably my contract year, to be honest with you. And I had a serious hip injury like 3/4 of the way through the year. So that was with 20 games left in the season. I was going to try to get 45, 50 fights, 400 penalty minutes. And I thought, if I do that, someone's going to re-sign me, whether it's New York or another team. So,
and you were chasing the record. No, what was? Do you remember what the record was? Like, you and Scary were pretty close to it.
Yeah, I think I beat the Hartford. Like, I surpassed. I think Trevor Gillies had the record in Hartford for most majors in a year.
Yeah,
I think it was somewhere around 30, and I know I passed that. I don't know what the league record was, but I know I was trying to pass it before I had my hip surgery there.
Man, that's just bonkers. Let's go to the fighting thing for a second. It's something we've talked about on the show. We had George the Rock on, and obviously Carcillo fought a lot, and we've talked about it quite a bit. I remember days where your knuckles were just an absolute, they were a joke. Like, you had giant scabs and scars on every knuckle. You could barely grip your stick. Some of these 3-and-3s you were fighting every night. I remember literally sitting beside you on the bus wondering how you were going to play because your hands were so mangled. Like, just let's talk about that for a second, man.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, in the American League, some of the scheduling was absolutely ridiculous. I haven't played in North America for the better part of 10 years now, so I don't know if it's still like that. But when we had those interdivision games and you're playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, well, I mean, sometimes you're fighting 4 or 5 times in a weekend, and by Sunday, your mitt's a complete mess. And lucky for me, our coach hated me, and I only played about 2 minutes a night, so I didn't have to worry about holding my stick, and I could just go out and fight and kind of do my thing. So, yeah, the mental side of it was definitely a huge part of why I went to Europe in the first place. I think through it all, my time in North America, I lost my love for the game. It got to a point where I wasn't playing hockey anymore. I was a meathead, and it just wasn't fun. And if I would have stuck around, maybe I would have got a chance to play in the NHL for sure. I mean, I look now and all the guys I was fighting, guys I was beating up, guys I was getting beat up by, they all played in the NHL, whether it was 1 game, 2 games, whatever the case. But to me, it wasn't worth it. There was no point. I wanted to get back to playing hockey and kind of finding that true passion and love I had for the game.
So going overseas, obviously there's not as much fighting over there. So how did you like going over there knowing you didn't have to fight 31 times in 60 games?
Yeah, no. So my first time I went over there was actually during the NHL lockout, and I went to Cardiff, Wales, and the British League was a, a pretty tough league at the time. I wanted to go and not fight, but with the reputation I had, I ended up fighting more there than I did in North America. And that lasted till about Christmas. And then I said, no way, I'm not doing this anymore. And came back to the American League and played in Chicago and fought again for another half of a year. So that was kind of I guess a decision I wish I hadn't have made at the time, because I wanted to get away from it, and I went to a situation where it was even worse. I would say when I went to Sweden and then to Italy is when I finally started to relax and realize, like, okay, you don't have to do this anymore. You can enjoy the game. You're not a robot. You don't have to get to the red line. You don't have to dump it in. You can, stick handed with the puck. You can do things with the puck. And because I was tough and because people were scared, especially in Europe, I had so much more time to make plays, and I actually benefited off of having a reputation of being a quote unquote tough guy.
We're gonna put a couple clips up on Twitter after of some of your YouTube fights from Europe. We got to get into a couple here. Tell me the story of the Ben Olsen one. I know you guys fought a ton when we played together. Ben Olsen was a tough dude, huge dude, way bigger than you. And then I saw it was a fight after the game, or it was after a handshake or something. What was the story behind that one?
Yeah, this British league was absolutely crazy. Like, they had probably 2 or 3 super heavyweights on each team. And I mean, as you can imagine, in the UK, they don't really know the rules. The game isn't policed overly well. The reffing's also not very I don't know if organized is the right word, or just flat out not good reffing. So after the game in Europe, you shake hands. We were shaking hands, and I looked over, and Ben Olsen was spearing my assistant coach in the stomach. So
was the coach still on the ice?
No, coach was on the bench. Like, you go by and shake the coach's hand and stuff like that.
Okay,
So
okay.
I see Benny Olsen just spearing my coach. I look around. I'm like, okay, fuck. No one else is gonna do anything, right?
Yeah.
So I go over, skate over to him. Sure enough, as soon as I skate over, gloves off, huge melee. It's me and him fighting. It was like a schoolyard fight where everyone's packed around. It's a big circle watching us fight. So we fight, and there was a newspaper article the next day in the Cardiff Gazette or whatever it was. It was Night of Shame, and it had a picture of me and Benny Olsen squaring off at center ice. So it was crazy.
Did you guys get anything from that, like suspension or anything?
I'm sure I got suspended. My while I was there, I was a complete circus act. There's no other way to put it. I for sure I was suspended multiple times while I was in that league. I would imagine, though, that was one of the times I was suspended.
What was the scheduling like? So I remember when I was in Holland, it was like we played Friday, Sunday, and then you had all week to do nothing. What was it like there?
Yeah, it was same kind of thing. I don't know if we played on Fridays, but it might have been Saturdays, Sundays. So, excuse me, I went there like Saturday game, and Friday night you're obviously going out. I was single at the time. I was in Europe.
Yeah.
Didn't really have any friends other than, the people I knew on the team. So go out Friday night, usually play Saturday, just absolutely hungover. And then the road trips were absolutely ridiculous. Like, you could play a Saturday night in Wales, and then Sunday afternoon, halfway up England, or sometimes even Scotland, which is like a 10, 12 hour bus ride. It's like, I remember the one trip we left at, I don't know, say like 4 a.m, played a 7 o'clock game, and got home the next day at 6 a.m. or something like this. And it's like, what the hell did I get myself into,
I'm curious, what are the fans like in Cardiff? Are the fans like you see in like Switzerland and stuff? Like, are they bouncing the whole time, chanting?
No, they don't do that kind of stuff in the English league. It is a very well supported league, though. I mean, for the most part, there's a couple rinks that are, not to your North American standard, but I would say for the better part, most of the arenas are, like a normal American league, North American arena, and they fill them. So the support's definitely insane. The cheering aspect isn't the same as mainstream England, or sorry, Europe.
Let's get back to the Wolfpack here. We got to break down some stuff that I've always been wanting to tell to people that they probably wouldn't believe happened, or I think would find pretty funny. So the first one that stands out in my mind is the Grand Rapids story to me. Just one of the funniest times of my life. I mean, I'll give the backstory. So we were playing in Grand Rapids. I took a penalty late in the game, and then I took an unsportsmanlike penalty to put me in the box for 4 minutes. They ended up scoring on the second half of it. It was like 10 minutes left in the game. That was the winning goal. They scored in the power play. Coach is screaming at me on the bench, and we lose that game. Big loss. And we go back to the hotel. All the boys are going out that night. I was only 20. I didn't have a fake ID or anything, so I couldn't go to the bar with the boys. And everybody ends up going. I was like one of the only guys at the hotel, and did so. You finish the story. What happened? Obviously, because I wasn't at the bar. But
so I should probably leave names out of this one, or yeah, I think so. Probably right. So anyway, Weiser didn't have his fake ID with him. My dad was actually down for the game, so
yes, I forgot about that.
I was eating dinner with my dad upstairs, and all the other guys were at the bar downstairs. I remember taking my dad downstairs to the bar, and we had a lounge, like a bunch of bottles and stuff like that. And my dad's with me. He's like, you know what? I don't think this is my scene. I'm going to go back to the hotel. So I was like, yeah, okay, no problem. So as the night goes on, everyone's getting like pretty wasted. This is my first road trip with the team. First time ever met anyone. So it's a good team bonding thing for all the young guys. Sure enough, we leave the bar. Don't know what time it is. It was probably 2-3 in the morning. And next thing you know, one of the guys on it, Corey Potter, was like, Deeds, like, get over here. And one of the guys on our team's cuffed in the back of a cop car. So Corey Potter goes over the cop and says, like, what happened? And cop says, well, this player on your team pulled his pants down and was doing the sprinkler in the middle of the dance floor, peeing on everyone. So me and Potsy are the other guys in the back of the cop car. He's got his head pressed up against the window, just dying laughing at us. So we're dying laughing, and we go back to the hotel, and Justin Soriel, another good buddy of ours, the older guys make him go up to our coach's room and tell G what's going on. So he knocks on the door, and it's got to be what, Weiser, like probably 2, 3, 4 in the morning.
Yeah, it was late. By the time you guys got back, it was, man, it might have been later than that. It was like 4:30 maybe.
Yeah. So and we had, I think G used to give us curfew all the time. So
yeah,
we probably had like a 12 o'clock curfew. So this is Sorzy's first road trip too. So he goes, knocks on the coach's door. G gets up, and he had a really high pitched voice. Sorzy, what the fuck are you doing? And Sorzy's got to tell him that one of our players is in jail for pissing all over people in the bar. So the next day we go to the jail. We pick up this player that was arrested. He comes on the bus. He's got his mug. He walks past the coach, walks past like all the assistant coaches, and out of his pocket he pulls a picture, and it's his mugshot of him at like 4 in the morning, and he just dies laughing, and everyone's losing it. And so the coach turns around. He's like, if you were out last night past curfew, raise your hand. So we were the young guys. I think I was sitting beside Weiser on the bus. Mm-hmm. So I raise my hand. Good, honest boy. I'm raised my hand, and I see Sorzy raises his hand, and one other guy raises his hand, and then I look behind me, and no one else has got their hand up. I'm like, you got to be kidding me right now. This is my first road trip, like first time with the team, and I'm getting sewered like this. So I think we were busing to Lake Erie the next day, weren't we? Or that day, I guess. Yeah. So he pulls me up to the front of the bus. What were you doing last night? It was like I murdered someone, and I was getting interrogated for murder. Like never had I been questioned like this before. Like does your dad know you drink? Because I told him I was with my dad. Does your dad know you drink beer? You're underage. I was like, yeah, my dad knows I drink beer. I'm a fucking 20-year-old man. Like, come on, give me, how many beers do you think you had? And then so this guy, our coach, played pro hockey for how many years did he play pro?
Oh, man, 15, maybe longer.
Like any NHL games, a ton of AHL games. I think probably AHL Hall of Famer. And he couldn't believe that we had bottles at a bar. Like it was something new that came out like the year that he retired or something. This is how oblivious he was to everything. So I'm telling him, yeah, we had bottles of vodka at the table. So I can't put a number on how many drinks I had. And then going off. Nothing happens. Then the next day, we had a pregame skate. He calls me, Sorzy, and I can't remember. Maybe it was Matt Stefanishin. I think that's who the other guy was.
He was there too.
Yeah. Calls us over into a circle, and he's like, you guys are young. You fucked up, blah, 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 all this, all that. Like, I'm going to skate you guys into the ground. I was like, oh, fuck, perfect. This is great. So he skated us for at least like 45 to 60 minutes, just down, back, down, back, down, back. And then at the end of it, he gives us the old classic line, if I ever catch you guys doing this again, you're going to be buried so deep the hockey news won't even be able to find you. And I was buried for the next 3 years. Like I was completely done for the next 3 years. Like, I could have just handed my contract into New York that day and been like, here, take it.
Oh man, it was so funny. I can't explain how good I felt to sit there on the bus when he was interrogating everybody and knew I was the only guy that didn't go out. Yeah. I was just sitting there. I felt terrible for the boys, but it was like, thank God I wasn't there, because me, Devin, and my roommate Justin Soriel were the three rookies, and we didn't have a lot of prospects at the time in New York. Our team was really good. We had a lot of older guys, and you're a rookie, first time playing pro, so we were the whipping boys. We were easy, and we had a ton of fun, the three of us. So we were pretty easy targets, and we were pretty unapologetic about a lot of things we did. We had a lot to say, and those two fought a lot more than I did, but I also did a little bit of fighting myself. So, we were backing it up. We were playing, we were fighting, and we were enjoying ourselves off ice. So that's to say the least.
I was doing some digging too. Sorry, is like I heard there's one outdoor game story that you guys might touch on tonight. That's pretty funny.
That was a good one too. When I had all my buddies down from Stratford came down that weekend. That was a crazy one too.
It was pretty funny for us. Because it didn't even I was telling the team and all the people in the back and stuff on the Habs Tonight team that it was I don't know, it didn't even feel like a real game. It felt like a beer league game for us. I don't know why. It was freezing cold.
Well, probably because we were drinking beers in the parking lot before the game.
I mean, that might have had something to do with it. I don't know. Was it a Saturday afternoon or what was it? Do you remember?
Yes, Saturday afternoon. I remember Noobs was called up in New York. So I had this. I don't know if you know the name, Chris Newberry. He played in the NHL a little bit, but up and down. A super good American League player, just never could kind of carve out his thing in the NHL. And anytime he went up to New York, his car wouldn't fit in the underground parking because he had this giant, stupid ass monster truck. So he used to have to take my car and I'd have to drive around his monster truck. So there must have been like 5 or 6 of my buddies down from my hometown, and we pull up to the game, and Weiser and Sorzy are sitting in the truck beside us when we pull up, and next thing you know, we're drinking Coronas 2 hours before the game in the truck. And it's like, you think of this stuff now, and it's like some guys aren't even drinking beer after the game, like these 19-year-old kids. They're just crushing beer before the game like it was nothing.
It's so different, man. And when I played in the American League in 2019, it was such a different world from where we played, where, if we played on lots of times we played on a Friday, Saturday in Hartford, we had a good schedule. So, we'd play in Springfield, which was like a 45-minute drive, or Bridgeport, which was an hour. And then, maybe we play on the road Friday, Saturday, come back after the game Saturday, and we play Sunday at 3:00. And, you know, plenty of times we would get back on a Saturday, probably, I don't know, like 11:30 and 10 o'clock. There's Derek with the Fast and the Furious line, my favorite. So plenty of times on Saturday we would get back at like 11 and we would go to the bar and enjoy ourselves. And I remember one time we went out after a Saturday game and we were playing Sunday at home, and me and Dids were absolutely in one. I slept over at his apartment, and I don't know if you were hurt, but I just remember you whipped up that unreal breakfast, and I literally played the game of my life on the Sunday. I had like 2 goals, 2 assists, man. I played the game of my life.
And then
you were dying too.
Yeah, I was dead. I was in a bad place. I don't know why I wasn't playing, but I know that we got up to something we shouldn't have been doing the night before. And I just remember waking up and be like, oh my God, Weiser's got to play a game today. I have no clue how he's going to do it. You were hugging the toilet in my bathroom. I was like, this guy's in trouble today.
Playing guilty.
Yeah, I was so banged up. I remember I couldn't even go to the rink. I'm checking the flash, like the AHL live, whatever the website was. It's like, we scored. I was like, oh my God, this must have went in off his ass or something. And then check a little later, another one. I was like, I can't even get out of bed, and this guy's got 4 points.
I don't even. The breakfast was the answer, man. I gotta get you cooking me more breakfast.
Yeah, omelets. And then I remember we going, and then we went on a little streak where we're going out and getting absolutely wrecked, and then having omelets before Sunday afternoon games.
Yeah, and I remember there was a diner where we used to meet the bus for Sunday games, and that would be like our breakfast spot. You'd pull up and there'd be like 5-6 guys sitting there having breakfast, looking at each other like, holy smokes, how are we playing today?
Oh yeah, just terrible,
man. And that was like, it was normal though. Like, it wasn't, that was like,
yeah, that's the way it was. Like, there's so many times over the course of that 3 years I can remember, because I was on the other side. That apartment I was at the other side of the XL Center, and there was that McDonald's right on the corner. I can remember waking up, like being like, oh my God, I have to do this today, getting like a Big Mac, eating it, walking into the rink, and then just sitting in the hot tub for like 45 minutes before the games, just hoping I could wake up.
Do you remember the one time when I was in the hot tub in the training room and G cleared everybody out to yell at me?
Yeah, in the hot tub.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, oh yeah. We were the absolute whipping. We couldn't do anything right. Like, there was absolutely nothing we could do right. I remember. Do you remember Valley's first game down in Hershey? He got lit up for like 9 goals.
Yep.
I remember. So this guy, Steve Valiquette, it was Steve Valiquette, right?
Yep.
Yeah, goalie for the Rangers forever, gets sent down. We're shooting on him in warm-ups, and I mean, everything is going in. Like, and I know it's warm-ups, but I said to Weiser, I was like, this isn't going to be good. Like, he's fighting her tonight. Sure enough, they put up a 9 spot on us, and I can remember going back to the hotel the next day, and the video clips were just me, Weiser, and Sorzy. Like, there's no way I was even on the ice for a goal, because I wouldn't have been playing. I probably had like a fight and got beat up and got yelled at, or something like this, and just losing it. Like, it got to a point where it was just a joke between the 3 of us, because you would just we were his whipping boys for 3 years straight.
It was absolutely insane. And man, I don't know if we would have made it out of those years alive without each other. Like, it would have been a dark place, man. I know for the first year, it was a tough adjustment for all of us. We're like, the year before in junior, we were playing, we were scoring a ton, we were superstars, and now it's kind of like back down the totem pole. That was like a really, really tough adjustment for us.
Well, I mean, even for a guy like you, I mean, you were a point of game guy in the WHL, over 30 goals before you signed your contract, almost made the team out of training camp. And then you get to Hartford, where we had a really good team. Like, if you look at that team, I mean, almost everyone on that team has played NHL games or turned out to be an NHL player. So a guy like you is fighting for a spot on the third line, and kind of, like you said, fighting and doing things that you don't necessarily want to do, but you see the dream on the other end, you see the paycheck on the other end, and that kind of makes it all worth it in the end, right? It's, as Canadians especially, we grow up dreaming of playing in the NHL, and you get so close, and you get to a point where you'll literally do anything to achieve that dream.
That leads me to the next question that I wanted to ask you. I know Carcillo touched on it a lot, and knowing what you know now, would you have changed anything that you did? Obviously, man, you were fighting everybody and anybody 30 times a year. Probably multiple concussions. Knowing what you know now, would you have done anything different?
You know what, Weiser? I don't think I would have, to be honest with you. I can look at my career and not have any regret as to what I put into the game. I mean, I made some decisions away from the rink and off ice habits that I probably wish I could take back. But I think fighting gave me a chance to open up some eyes, whether it was being 16 years old in junior and kind of proving myself, or, being a 20-year-old rookie in the American League having to prove himself. Do I think I was a better player than a guy that had to fight 30 times a year? Yeah, I truly do. Do I think that reputation followed me to Europe where I wish it didn't? Yeah, I did. But at the same time, like I said, I had that goal in my mind. I had an NHL contract. I knew what I wanted to achieve, and I did everything in my power to achieve that goal. And that was fighting. And no one had a gun to my head. G never said, hey, you got to go out there and fight. You got to do what you do. Listen, I was crazy when I was 21, 22, 23. I mean, up to 25, I was a complete nutball. Like, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind going to the rink, having 3, 4, 5 coffees, throwing some weights around, and then going to start a ruckus or spear some guy in warmups and tell him I was going to fucking take his head off. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't mind that. At that point, it was fine. With a wife and 2 kids, am I going to do that right now? No, probably not. Right. So, yeah, I have no regret. And if people regret the things they did with fighting a guy like Daniel Carcillo, that's fine, because, I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, right?
No, you know what? That's a great answer, buddy. And that's, he said, you're almost bang on what he said. He doesn't regret anything. He loved it. He said he's still a pit bull inside. He's just a little more tame now. So it's great that you say that, man. I know I took a lot from you and Sorzy watching what you guys went through mentally. And I think it made me a little more reserved as I went forward. I know that for sure. When I was like, man, I saw what you guys went through, like that anxiety. And I never really felt it because I wasn't fighting the guys that you guys were fighting. And I wasn't doing it at the volume you guys were doing it. But I know when my first year in the NHL, when it was like, that was all I was asked to do. It was like, man, I can't do this. Like, this is not what I want. And it's tough. Like, people don't understand that mental grind of it. And I think, that's why we enjoyed ourselves the way we did, because we had to let off some steam when things were done, because that's a stressful, cutthroat situation for people to be in at 20 years old. And I don't think people understand that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that one. And when we were coming up in the American League, it was a lot tougher than the NHL or the American League are now. There's a guy like Michael Haley, who's probably one of the toughest guys in the NHL right now. You'd go into Bridgeport on a Sunday and you'd try to fight him so you didn't have to fight the 5 guys in front of him. You know what I mean?
Man.
So you're fighting guys like this, and it was a way tougher environment, a way different game. It was just so much different than the way it is now. And yeah, we blew off steam on Friday nights, on Saturday nights, and
Black Bear.
Yeah,
shout out to Black Bear.
Yeah, had our fun, but like you said, I did it so I didn't have to think about who I was fighting tomorrow, or why I wasn't playing or why I wasn't doing it. And you can say, yeah, it's masking your pain with alcohol or with this or with that, and it is what it is. And at a time, that's what we were doing, and that's just how it was. I mean, the whole hockey culture was like that, I think.
Exactly. And when I look at it, and no disrespect to Michael Haley, or some of the guys that are doing it now, but like you said, he was literally like the 5th toughest guy on that team. You and Sorzy were fighting guys that were way tougher than him. And man, I always thought if you guys came along for maybe 5 years later, you both could have been NHL players, because like you said, the guys that are doing it now are not better players than you guys were, and are not tougher than you guys were. And it was insane how tough that league was. I know, like, we had legit 9 or 10 guys on our team that would be tougher than any guy that I played against in the American League in 2019 in the whole league.
Devin, I got to jump in. I just got to ask, do you have one like trophy fight or moment in the A when you're like, holy shit, like this is awesome?
Like in terms of fighting someone?
Yeah, like is there one guy you're like, holy shit, I did it?
I would say that Traverse City tournament we played in Weisy when I knocked out Luke Gazdic. I had fought, I don't know, do you know Luke Gazdic? Yeah. I mean, I would say he was a top 3 heavyweight in the NHL for a while.
Yeah.
I had fought him in the OHL for, I don't know how many times. And I never really got beat up by him, but I never really won. A lot of really, really good battles. And we squared off in Traverse City. And I remember thinking to myself, I went to camp with Columbus as a free agent. I didn't sign with Calgary. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I got to make a name for myself here. I'm going to swing for the fences. I'm either going to get knocked out or I'm going to knock someone out. And I just reached down as far as I could and swung as hard as I could. And I remember feeling him go limp in my hand. I was like, okay, game over. And I put him down. And that was kind of the moment where I realized, okay, you're a smaller guy, but you can knock out some pretty big dudes if you want. So that I think that was kind of a moment where I realized, okay, at least now it's a realistic.
You can handle yourself.
Yeah, exactly. A real, if I would have fought George Laraque, he would have thrown me into section 220 at the Bell Center. I wouldn't have had a chance. But if you playing in the NHL and fighting, and that's your role, well, that's what you have to do. You know what I mean? There was some guys that, just simply outclassed me, whether they were way stronger than me or whether they're just a better fighter than I was. So, I would say that was probably the moment. I never had anyone that, like, I had watched growing up that I was like, in awe. Like, I really want to, like, Probert, Domi, like all those guys were in the NHL. So I don't think there was anyone like that, was there? Maybe McGrattan, Big Ern McGrattan.
Did you get Morasti at all?
I would say
no, I didn't get Morasti to go. I was Don King in warm-ups on that one, probably lining that one up for Sorzy. And I think I fought Stu Beckel, who was another, like, that's what I mean. I didn't fight Morasti, but then I fought 6'5", 240-pound Stu Beckel. Like,
Slippery Stu.
Yes, Slewfoot Stewie.
It was slippery, man.
Yeah.
Holy smokes!
So I mean, that's just how it was back then. And to be honest, I wish the game was a little more hard nosed than it is now. The way it is right now, it really reminds me of a European game. Like, why not just make the ice bigger? These guys are so skilled. They're so good. Make the ice a little bigger and let them showcase themselves. If this is what you want to have the game played, then do it the right way.
Hey, I noticed we have Adrian here in the studio. You want to bring a first caller in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome, Adrian, to the show. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you guys all doing?
Adrian, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, Dale, nice to see you again, man. How's everyone?
Real good.
I like the Italian flag there.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah. It's my family, we're full Italian, both sides. So it's Italian American. My dad's American born. We're Canadian too, so got all the flags. I don't know if you see the Canadian flag there. So
nice.
Yeah, representing a little bit of everything, right?
There you go.
Yeah. How are you guys doing, man? It's been I think I came on a couple of weeks ago with Dale and Aaron, and it was a good show with Chris Pronger. So I was gonna ask you Dale and Devin a few questions. I got 2 questions. So I was listening before when you guys were talking about the fights and your in the AHL and the A show there, and overall in your career, like, for both you guys, who is the toughest player that you've like fought? Like, who is, like, whatever you got, like, you drop the mitts and like you see who it is and you're like, oh fuck, like, but you who is the toughest guy you fought?
Ooh,
we should let you take that one first.
I think Didzo probably answered that one for you. Luke Gazdic, I think, is as tough as anybody. That's not. Yeah, he was probably a top 3 guy in the NHL for sure, like Devo said. So the toughest guy I fought, I can tell you the hardest I got hit was Matthew Waugh.
Matthew Waugh,
really?
He got paid for that, man.
Matthew Waugh. So A huge lefty French guy. I had no idea. It might have been my first or second year. And it was kind of a scrum, and he was grabbing a smaller guy. And I went over, and I knew he was pretty tough. I didn't know he was that tough. I also didn't know he was a lefty. And I grab on right away, and immediately pops me with a left right here, splits me open first shot. And it's like I can feel the blood, like my face is pouring, like it's raining outside. It's just leaking down my eye, and I'm standing in there, and I'm trying to trade right for leps, and he's just absolutely tagging me. And I didn't know,
it was like
my head was like bang. We were like bang. He hit me with about 7 or 8. And I know by far that's the hardest I've been hit. And when I went off, it was like I couldn't even see. And then later, the funny part of the story is the American League, we ended up finding out you can like get compensated for this. So I had this huge cut on my forehead, which I got paid for. And, you know, me and Dids always had a running joke about it.
Yeah, you get, I think it used to be like you get like $1,000 a stitch or something like that, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. Like we're getting stitches. We're like trying to make it worse.
Yeah.
It's like don't stitch it too good. I'm trying to get paid for this.
Yeah, one of us would get cut, and we'd say to the doc, like, get as many in there as you can. I don't care what the scar looks like. It's like you have a $50,000 face by the time you're done in 3 years. The scars everywhere. It's like
Yeah, it was
10,000 a year, 5,000.
It's beautiful, man. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Oh man, that's amazing. Yeah. Who is? I'm gonna ask the second question now, if that's okay, guys.
Yeah, go ahead, man. No worries.
Oh, thanks. So who was like the funniest like teammate you had in like all your years you guys played? Like who was just like that one teammate that you'd see him just doing like some funny stuff in the room or like off the ice, and he was just known, like it was like his personality. He was kind of known for being like you know, like a lightning rod, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's you. He's sitting below me. That's the guy.
Okay,
But,
here
man,
you go.
by far the funniest teammate I've ever played with. Like we used to do. So here's the crazy thing we used to do, and this goes into some of the like ridiculous stuff we were doing, but it was so funny because we could back it up. So before the game, and I don't know if I don't know who it was. Did you'll have to back me up on this one, but we would, like, you know how the NHL, they have the cameras in the game before. Well, in 2010 they clearly didn't have that in the American Hockey League. So here's me and Dids, you know, 10 minutes before the game. Excuse me, sorry. And I'm like pretending I'm a camera guy, and Dids is like pretending he's got the cord behind me, like they're coming in the room to film guys before games. And it was just ridiculous stuff that we would do like that.
Like
and
doing that to Wade Redden 1,000 games in the NHL. Weiser's got like a fake camera in his face, and I got my hockey stick over.
Yeah,
like
the sound man. You were the sound man. I forgot.
The sound man over,
Yeah,
like
so,
getting clips on him. And it's like 5 or 10 minutes before the game, and he was probably thinking like, what are you doing there?
Yeah, there's 1,000 NHL games. You know, a guy that was making $7 million down there, and you know, it was his first game down there. We did it, and you know, Wade Redden was unbelievable down there with us. Like, you know, he laughed at the stuff we did, and he loved it. And it was, you know, it was kind of our way of, obviously it was a tough situation for him, and we thought we'd make a little, you know, make light of the situation and have some fun. And I think, you know, that's the reason why our team was so good down there all those years. We had so much fun. I know it was probably the best time I had playing hockey my 3 years.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Me as well. I mean, it was obviously things didn't go the way I wanted to go after those 3 years, but in terms of fun, not only at the rink, I wasn't playing a ton, and it was still the most fun I had. I mean, it was like nonstop laughs every time we were at the rink. And
That's good.
From what Weiser said about last year being in Laval and how things are in the American League now, it certainly sounds like things have changed.
Nah, it's no fun anymore, man. There's no
Really,
fun. It's not the
kids
same.
are different now. They'd rather go play Fortnite and Call of Duty Warzone than go crush some beers after a game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The whole
Or
culture
before the
is-
game.
Yeah.
And just for the record, that was the only game. That was the only
I
game.
shouldn't have said that.
No, you should have. That was fucking awesome. No, that was
a one-time thing. And
that was
my buddy Apps was making music, and Weiser had his song going on in the car. He was so happy, and then I think the beer started out. I don't know how it happened, but then another thing Reds walked in on. He like walks by, we're having beers. He's probably like, "What's going on here? Like, what did I walk into?"
just crazy.
Awesome.
The boys backed it up though all the time. So nothing you could say.
Yeah.
That's awesome though. You always want to have like be around like guys like that like make it more fun. It's almost like in a workplace too. Like the people around you make it a lot better, right? And I guess I can maybe relate to you guys. Like that can kind of be relative
Absolutely.
too. But
Absolutely.
yeah, that's awesome. You gotta always have fun too. You gotta like that's awesome. I was listening to those stories before I came on, and like that's some legendary stuff there, guys. I love it. I respect it.
We got plenty more, man. We'll have, we'll have a couple
shit.
extra parts for sure.
Yeah, there was
beauty.
a
Can't
couple
wait.
good ones.
That's
100%,
awesome.
Adrian. Well, thanks for jumping on. Those are some unreal
thanks for having
questions
me.
too. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for having me,
Somebody
guys.
else.
Take care, bud.
Oh my
no.
God! Look at
There
that.
it is.
There it
That
is.
bring back memories.
There it is.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
There-
Man,
there's
so that was the spot for us. Like, after any Friday, Saturday, Sunday game, that's where we were going. That was the spot. It was like that a street of bars, but that was really the only good bar. And man, it's unreal in the American Hockey League where it's so different. Guys are so young, they don't have girlfriends and wives and kids, and the whole team's at the bar. Man, that's hockey. That's hockey.
It was you came from making $50 a week in junior to actually, you're making more money than a normal person that's been working their whole life, in
Right.
terms of NHL contracts and stuff like that. You're not making a huge amount of money, but in terms of the real world, so to say, you're still making really good money, and you're 20 years old. So it's, you kind of got the world by the balls, and I couldn't take my foot off the gas for a while. Weise equals Gretzky, but with clogs. There you go.
I appreciate that stuff.
I gotta ask one question that made me think of it. Like, you always hear these stories from the A. Like, is there any like particular story that's like absolutely nuts, and you're like, this is professional hockey? Like,
Wow,
a bus just sitting, like a bus breaking down in the middle of the night, you're stuck on the side of the road. Like, you hear some horror stories from the A.
Oh, I think the number one I couldn't believe happened story I've ever seen in my life was we were supposed to go home for Christmas. And so everybody booked their flights. Everybody goes home. Everyone's young. They're going home to see their family at Christmas. It was a 4-day break, and everybody books their Christmas break. And, we lost the game the day before the break was supposed to start. And there's no mandatory breaks in the American League. So if they don't want to give you the break, you don't get it. So everybody had their flights booked. We lost the game the day before the break. And they go, well, we're practicing tomorrow at 11. So guys were absolutely pissed. Everyone had to change their flights. It changed everything. And on top of it all, we had to practice for like 40 minutes or whatever. And then we start bag skating at the end of practice.
It was great,
which kind of fired everybody up. And then, Dids, you can Patty Bowler this one. You can
no, you can take it. You can.
Okay, so we're doing laps, and I wasn't in Dids' group, but we're doing laps. It's 4 corners. You go. We're doing laps, and the coach is moving the net, but one coach didn't move the net very often, so there's like the ruts in the net, and we're not trying to skate anymore. So everyone's cutting the net as tight as they can, and the ruts in the ice are getting huge. So I see one time Dids goes around and he yells at the coach, "Move the net," and I can hear him yell at the coach, "Move the net." Goes around again, he doesn't move the net. Goes around one more time, "Move the net." He's screaming at him. Coach doesn't move the net. Goes around the 3rd time, tells him to move the net. The coach starts skating after him. So Dids turns around and loads up his stick like this at the assistant coach. Oh my God. So everyone's standing around like, what is going on? Like, everybody was miserable. Nobody wanted to be out there. And this coach is fighting with a player, which is absolutely incredible. Good for him for having the balls to go after you.
Yeah, well, 20 years old yelling at him to move the net. And then put my stick at him and tell him if he comes any closer, I'm going to take his eye out. and wonder why I was buried in the American League for 3 years.
Oh, Dave, it was just like Slapshot. It was incredible.
Oh, yeah.
It was incredible. And then we had a guy named Brandon Sugden that was on our team. He could have been the toughest guy in the league. He was married to an exotic dancer, which I thought was interesting. Just an incredible guy. He was so old school, and he was the toughest guy in the league, man. And it was funny to see how scared guys were of this guy.
Oh, he was crazy. I mean, he got kicked out of the East Coast League for life. I think the year he signed with them, they had to reinstate him into the league. Like, he had to write a letter to the league to let this guy play. He was a complete lunatic, but like you said, nicest guy.
Yeah, unreal guy. And he was great for us because three young guys that were running wild on the ice, kind of, doing whatever we want. And we had him backing us up. So it was, it kind of made everybody a little bit taller, and he took on the absolute mutants of the league. So,
and beat them up like pretty easily.
And he handled them, which was incredible. Just a hilarious guy. So old school. I remember it might've been our rookie dinner. Someone was doing a skit and they kind of made fun of him. He like jumped over the table and went after a guy.
Yeah. Wasn't happy at all.
Yeah, he was not happy. It was an inappropriate joke about his wife, so I would have went after him too. But it was like he climbed the table at a rookie dinner. He jumps over the table and goes after a guy.
Yeah, it was crazy, absolute madness. So,
that's a couple of ones that were like, holy smokes!
Love the classic stories. Weiser, tell them about the year All-Star break. Went to Cancun, told everyone we're going home.
Yeah. Yeah. So the coach was asking us, he asked us like where we were going, and everyone was like, yeah, we're going home for All-Star break. We're going home for All-Star break. But really there was like 10 of us, maybe a little more. We all went to Cancun together, and it was madness. Like if we thought Hartford was crazy, this was like 10 guys in Cancun going off for 4 days. The first day, I remember me and Dids we were out the first day. We were out of commission, little afternoon pool session. Completely took us out. And then, Dids, you can explain the last night what happened. I don't have the answer for that one.
I don't either. I mean, still to this day, I don't have the answer. But yeah, no, like Weiser said, there was, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 of us that decided, hey, it's a good idea. We go down to All-Star break and tell the coach that we're all going home. So I think it's a sheet of paper that he had posted in the room, and you had to write the address of where you were going and the home phone number. So I put like my parents' place with my parents' phone number and called my dad and said, hey, if the coach calls, tell him I'm out or something, But I mean, just crazy stuff like no coach should be doing in pro hockey. Anyway, we fly down.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry? No.
I was gonna say, I don't know how you guys would hide like 8 or 10 guys coming back tanned as hell.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing.
So,
everybody.
Yeah. I was gonna. So anyway, we're all down there, all partying. Like you said, sitting in the sun, drinking all day. I think one of the guys passed out on the first or second day in the sun on the beach. Like I think it was Potsy actually, and like severe sunburn. Like not
he was
in a good
really
place.
white. He was whiter than me too.
Yeah, he was like an Irish guy. But anyway, so the last night out, it was our last night there. We had a flight home the next morning. So a group of us get together, went to a dinner. The wine's flowing, whatever else is flowing. I mean, God knows what we were drinking. Next thing you know, we're in a taxi van with some Mexican driver driving us around, like telling them, hey, you got to go here, you got to go there, bar hopping. We get to this one bar. Do you remember what it was called? It was awesome.
Was it the Coco Bongo one?
I think that
was the night before.
Yeah, Coco Bongos was the night before, but
that was good too.
Yeah, the whole trip was good. Yeah. And we anyway, we get to this bar. We're all pretty good, like pretty well behaved, not doing anything too crazy. It's our last night, so we're whooping her up a little bit. And I remember these two little Mexican guys come up to me and they're like, you want a drink? And I mean, looking back on it now, I have no idea why I took a drink from these two guys. So I take the drink it, and I mean, like 5 minutes later, it's like I just had 3 cases of beer. I'm like dancing everywhere. I told Weiser, I was like, because I was rooming with Weiser, I was like, man, someone just drugged me. I got date raped. Like, make sure no one grabs me tonight. Definitely make sure no one rapes me, and like just get me home. And I remember, I don't really remember much, but stayed out for the rest of the night, and then I got home in the morning, or like halfway through the night, like waking up and just puking everywhere. Had to go to the Mexican doctor the next morning, get like a script so I could fly home, and then. Like the next day we played and I was like puking my guts out. I had the sunglasses tan and geez, like, where the fuck were you? I was like, man, not now. I'm like dehydrated, can't move. Just got date raped.
It was. I remember watching Dids, like, we're in a bar and it was like they were shooting foam everywhere and it was like, so everyone's wet, like, whatever. And I remember just looking at him. It was a little later in the night, and I knew what was going on. And I'm watching him, and at one point, like his eyes kind of went cross-eyed when he was dancing, and it was like he was slouching over a little bit like this. And I was like, is he gonna fall over? Like I was within the proximity. Like if he was gonna fall, I was gonna catch him. And then I remember trying to drag him outside. I was like, man, what is wrong with you? I guess guys, 205, 210 pounds, and I'm like trying to hulk this guy into the cab, and he's like can barely walk. I was like, holy smokes, man, like what happened? And then obviously the next day the guy's dying, he's rotting on the plane. So I knew something was up. But
I remember too. I remember the cab driver had those Daddy-O bucks. You remember?
Yeah, he did. Daddy-O bucks. Yes.
So there must have been a bar called Daddy-O's or something, and I thought this was real. This is how messed up I was. I thought it was real money. I stole like a wad like this. I was like, "Weezer, we're not going anywhere." He's like, "Dids, it's Daddy-O bucks." I was like, well, we paid for the cab. I was like, we got to get out of here. Like, he knows where we live. We got to go to a different hotel. Like, I just stole like $1 million from him. He's like, Weezer, it's Daddy-O bucks.
Couldn't even have bought you a beer, probably.
No. Woke up in the morning, there's just Daddy-O bucks everywhere.
It's sprawled all over the floor. Oh my God. And then we came back, and like morning skate, there's 9 guys that have like just these beautiful tans, and the coach is looking around like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, like Winnipeg must be pretty nice this time of year.
Oh yeah, Devin's got some crazy stories. He's been on a journey.
Yeah.
Oh,
speaking of crazy story, there's one. So I was watching a couple of YouTube videos just getting ready, and there's one involving a penalty box. Do you mind getting into that one?
Yeah, so that was back to England again.
That league's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think it's like that anymore, to be honest. But when I was there, it was pretty nuts. But there was a guy on the other team. He did something to our goalie. We had like a little scrum. I dropped my gloves. He didn't drop his gloves. He turtled, and basically wouldn't fight me, and I got kicked out of the game. It should have been like a 2 or 4 minute penalty. The ref kicked me out. And as I'm going to this rink we played in, it was one of those dive rinks I was telling you about that wasn't to the standards of North American rinks. And as I'm walking to the dressing room, the penalty box is kind of on the other side, and he's a big bald guy, and he's just sitting there, and you stupid idiot, like saying all this stuff guys say. And I was like, you know what? I'm not in the mood right now, and I jumped up over the glass and then just sucker punched him while he was in the penalty box, and I got suspended for a long time for that. So,
did you get any fines when you got suspended there, or no? You just missed games?
No, I definitely got fined a couple times too, but nothing too serious. There it is.
We'll put that up after.
There it is. So we were playing Fife on that day, and I have a clipping actually, and I should print it out. And it says, it has that picture, and it says "complete DiDomete."
That's hilarious.
No,
that's beautiful, man. Hey, man, I really appreciate you coming on, buddy. We have a million stories we can talk about, so we're gonna have to get you on for a part 2. I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got a beautiful family you need to get to, and I don't know if your little guy's getting up soon or what's happening, but man, I really appreciate you coming on. I know the fans are gonna love this, and people will be watching this interview for a long time, man. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me on, Weezer, and I know we're both got busy lives now and probably don't connect as much as we like to, but it's definitely fun to think back and reminisce on some of the crazy stuff we used to do, and that's the stuff that we can do and did and learn on and learn from our mistakes. So at least we got a learning opportunity out of it, I guess.
Hey, we learned a lot then, if that's the case, buddy.
I hear you. All
right, buddy.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
a lot
for
coming on,
me,
man. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Brandon.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, that was wild.
Oh man, it's funny once you just get rolling. Like you just think of so many things that went on with us, and it was crazy. The three of us, me, him, and Justin Sorial, we're literally the three musketeers, man. It was awesome. We had such a good time.
I was gonna say, like as soon as you guys started talking, it was just like you guys like were at like an ice time this summer, just catching up again, just shooting the shit, telling stories.
Oh, it's
It was
great,
awesome.
man. I think that's it was just it honestly seems like a different era when I think about some of the stuff that we were doing. Like it's just unheard of. It just would not happen nowadays, and that was kind of the norm back then. So I don't know if it's better or worse. I don't know, but I had a great time, and I feel the same way as he did. I don't regret anything that I did, man. I had such a good time playing and enjoying myself. So it was
Well,
great.
like that's the thing. Like nowadays, it sounds bad, but like it's so professional now. Like the kids are like after practice, like it's legit protein drinks. They're not going out for
Yeah.
drinks.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate because like all these great stories you hear from like all the greats or any guys that have played is just how much fun you guys used to have.
You know what I think about guys, and I wonder, are they going to go through their whole professional career like this? And then at the end of the day, if it's the only thing they've ever known, then maybe they'll think it's fine. But I know if I didn't enjoy myself and do the things that I did, man, I would regret it, because sitting here today, my career is not over, but my North American career is over. And if I think of the stuff that I missed, those are the stuff that I missed. The crazy times with the guys, Black Bear, like all these things, like these are the times that I would have kicked myself that I didn't go enjoy myself, because things fly by so fast. And as a hockey player, you got to enjoy it. Like same as you, man. I listen to the old stories, and you hear these old guys talking about going out for beers and everything after practice. Like that was pro hockey. We had a ton of NHL guys like I sent down from New York. They're on one way, so they're making a lot of money. Guys like Mark Bell, Patrick Rissmiller, Wade Red, and these were guys, man, that were like literally after practice, okay, boys, let's go. Let's go. The whole team, we're going out for lunch. We're going to Hooters or something for lunch, man. Like it was awesome. We just had a great time, man. Those are the stuff you're going to miss. I feel the guys now where, that you don't hang out with anybody. You go home and play Fortnite and sit on your Instagram and TikTok and stuff. It's like, man, you're missing out.
Because I was gonna say, like, I remember, like, I listened to the most recent Spittin' Chiclets episode that you were on,
Yeah.
and I remember hearing like Devin's name get brought up, and then like hearing like the Hartford stories and like how he's like pretty much like your little stepson and stuff. So like, if anybody hasn't checked out that episode, please do. It's hilarious. I loved it. It seemed like you were having a great time with the boys.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. The Chiclets interview was great, man. It's just so much fun with those guys. It's literally like locker room talk, just like we're doing. We're just, you sit there and you tell some stories and they ask questions and we get flowing and you remember some stuff that doesn't come off the top of your head. And man, it was awesome. And that's kind of what we hope to bring here to Habs tonight. Obviously, we have post game shows and pre-shows and we're going to start bringing some other content to you guys. But the Weisy Wednesdays and even crushing cans, man. I just want it to be, I want it to just be a time where guys come and have a good time and tell some stories and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I got this mustache now, because I sewered myself and said the Habs were going to win Saturday, and they got pumped 5-0. So I got to have a mustache for a month. I was a little bit buzzy with Derek on cans for that one, but we have so much stuff on our YouTube channel. Like if you still haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, because like every day we're doing something. Like we put out, I think, like 4 or 5 hours of live content trade deadline day. Like it was wild.
The trade deadline stuff was amazing. All the people we have on our team, we have such a great team. We just have so many good hosts, and I know, we don't have Aaron on the show anymore, but we have some other people we're going to mix in on Weisy Wednesdays. We have so many good 100%. Hosts on our team, and I'm excited. Again, guys, like Brandon said, be sure to subscribe and like and comment. We're always open to feedback, and it lets us know. Do the handlebar. It lets us know you guys are enjoying the show, because this is a show for the fans. This is why we do it. This is why we want to do it, and that's the plan.
Speaking of the handlebar, Dale got a picture of it when I shaved my beard off. I was rocking a pretty big handlebar, but I don't know. I think it might be too late to start it. So one thing, I don't know. Do you want to do maybe a 5-10 minute little Q&A if anybody wants to jump in chat or jump on live?
Yeah, if anybody wants to get your questions in there, let's do 5 or 10 minutes. We'll fire your questions up, and I'll try to answer them the best I can.
For sure.
He's building a magnificent beard. Beautiful man.
We're going to do featuring. We got to do the whole team's got to come up with something, especially like November. We'll do it in
Oh, yeah.
November or something. Do a little
Absolutely.
competition so you can raise money.
Absolutely. Let me just rip through here.
Yeah.
Thomas, do you autograph cards? Yeah, you can get in touch with us through Twitter, and we can figure that one out, buddy. I autograph cards for sure, and we will be we'll be linking and posting more of our merch coming soon. We're just working through some things, and Nick is an amazing designer. As you guys, anyone that follows our page, you see her work. You saw the New York Rangers one. That just gives me chills when I see that. We wore that jersey like twice. I was so fired up. Okay. Did you play against the... Oh, that one went really quick. Dale, did you play against the Habs? Wow, with the Flyers. Yes, I did. And Randy, it was incredibly awkward. Just never felt right to play against the boys. I don't know what it was. It felt weird for me.
Oh, yeah, another one here.
Who are you going for to win the cup this year? Well, obviously Montreal. I'm hoping. That's my team. I hope they go on a Cinderella ride and Carey Price gets hot and all things happen for them. What did the team do after PK? I wasn't there for that one. I came the year after, so I'm sure PK had a celebration of his own. That guy likes to enjoy himself too, so I'm sure he had a great time. What do you think the players are coming to London Knights organization? Man, that is a hot spot. They're just producing talent every single year.
It's like an NHL team, man.
It's
like
incredible.
They get a massive crowd.
Yeah, and you hear, what Prusty says about London, like it's just incredible. Like they run that like an NHL team. That the team is incredibly profitable. They're not afraid to spend the money on their team and their players and literally make it like an NHL team. So that's a great environment. My boy Max Domi was there, so obviously they're turning out great players.
I like this one comment because this is what our main focus was from the very get-go. Maybe we can touch on this. Just because, I know today's interview with Devin, we got into some stories you'd never hear before, but maybe get your thoughts on why you did this. Because
my thoughts on why I did it.
Yeah, I've always mentioned how 24CH or the Road to the Winter Classic, everybody loves watching it because fans just want an inside perspective or kind of know you guys more than just the hockey player.
Right. Yeah, you know what, Brandon? That's. We've talked about it at length, and for you guys still listening, I just wanted something that's different. I personally don't like, standard media today. I don't see myself ever doing that. I want to give some real stories that you don't hear, the funny stuff, the serious stuff, the struggles guys go through, because I see so many people that are so hard on hockey players and they rip them on social media and media rips players, but people don't understand these are human beings, these are people, and they're not just hockey players. They play hockey as a profession, it's a job, and then they have a life after that. And the guests I bring on, I want to bring life. Look at Chris Conrad and Dan Carcillo. These are intelligent human beings, and look at a guy like Devin, man, he's one of my best friends, and the stories we can tell is just stuff that people don't see every day, and a lot of guys don't want to tell those stories, for whatever reason, and that's partially why I do it. And I love having fun. This is great, man. I love getting on here with you and the whole team, and I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. How sweet was that marker pointing the soup in the sorry, Randy, I briefly remember it. Didn't he circle him or what was it? Sorry, I don't remember. You can fire that on the chat there too. But Markov was such an underrated guy. He was so funny. Who do you think he played? Yeah, I mean, Fleischman and DiDomete obviously were the guys I had the most success with. At the end of my first year in Philly, I played with Couturier and Shannon. Our line was unreal. When they finally gave me an opportunity to do what they signed me for. So I think I had I don't know, maybe 13 points in my last 16 games there.
You're on a roll.
Any funny rookie initiation dinner stories? I wish, me and Devin could have told this one. There was the three of us. We had to dress up as girls for the rookie dinner, and we were literally in heels and skirts and stuff walking down Hartford, downtown. People were looking at us like we were absolutely ridiculous. And then you're in a restaurant on a Friday night dressed as a woman, which, if if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Like I got nothing against that. But it wasn't my choice to do it. So that's why it was uncomfortable. But it was let's be honest, it was so funny. And the looks I got from people, man, it was hilarious.
It's impossible to walk in heels, man.
Yeah, I just, full respect to girls. Like I don't know how they do it. It's an absolute art that I don't have.
Here's one.
Did skating over to a fan and taking a drink for his beer? No, I didn't see that. Johnny. I'm gonna have to look that up after this.
Right.
Subban working in media when he retires. PK Subban will be able to do whatever he wants when he'll done.
Be owning media.
Yeah, he could be in movies. He's such a smart guy. He's so talented. He's got a great personality. People love him. The sky's the limit for that guy. He'll be able to do whatever he wants. Glenn, my boy. He runs a local store down the street from me here. What a beauty.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, great guy. How many fights have you had over your? I don't know. We would have to get on Hockey Fights to see my career and stuff. I don't know how many. How should have been drafted? Yeah, let's fire through a couple more questions here, guys.
Yeah.
How do I feel? Yeah, being drafted was incredible. I know I touched on this on one of our shows. I got passed over twice, so I think it meant a little more to me to be drafted in my third year and to be drafted with my mom and dad beside me, the two people that are my motivating factor, my biggest supporters, and people that did everything to make me who I am, was just such a cool moment that I could share that with them and give back that all of our hard work and all of our efforts together, because when a guy makes it to the NHL, not just being drafted, you got to have the right support team around you. So that was a really special moment for me.
100%. And I think that's probably going to be it for tonight, eh? An hour and 50 in, some great stories. Probably get Devin back on again for some more. We didn't even really touch on much of like the more European stuff, just the Cardiff insanity, which is kind of hilarious. But it's we know the Habs are playing, so we're not going to keep everybody too long. Not sure of next week's guest yet. Are you?
Yeah, we got a couple options. We haven't locked in a solo guest yet, so stay tuned and we will post that, and keep following all of our pages. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll give you the update on that one.
100%. Go check out Dale on Spittin Chiclets. You won't regret it. It's an awesome interview. And like he said, to check out Habs tonight. I'm pretty sure Deeksy and Steph are firing up post game right after the game tonight. There's just so much coming out on the channel. Just check it out. It's all I got to say.
Absolutely, guys. Again, thank you for all the questions and everybody that tuned in. I know, doing these on a game night, we appreciate the loyal following, and we're just trying to keep things consistent and easy so everyone can remember. Okay, it's Weisy Wednesdays, and I hope you guys enjoy the game. Again, make sure to subscribe and like our videos, and be sure to comment.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.